Application is just. Users will have an account on that particular system. Basically how a user is onboarded inside Sailpoint, right? Using aggregation, or using create identity form, or using self-service registration. Basically, you can say how many types we can create a user in Sailpoint. So basically, we can create users in Sailpoint using 4 types. Basically one first phase, basically your aggregation. So when we run aggregation from the authoritative application, we can create identities here. Second one is your create identity right. Third one is your self-service registration. Fourth one is your pure writing Java code. Okay. That is not recommended at all. Basically the last one. Okay, now that you showed a form, that form, even without showing you, there was a form coming before. Where is that one coming from? Is there? Sailpoint generates dynamically if you don't define it form, right here. So Sailpoint has that level of capability. If you don't define that form here, on the runtime it will generate a form based on number of attributes we have defined in the identity mapping. So let's say for example, if you have 50 attributes here, right? 50 attributes here. Okay, now, if I delete this form, you can simply click on delete policy. Now we have basically all these fields, right? If you click here create identity form, you will see that now Sailpoint is creating this form based on all these attributes: identity name, password, confirm password, first time, last name, email manager, type software version administrator. If you see, all these are software version type. Administrator. Okay, it is taking from the identity attributes and presenting the form to the user. Yeah, it will basically number of fields that you have present, right? Based on that, it will create the same form here. Basically, you are controlling how many fields if you do it yourself, and also more relevant information and probably the look and feel and all that probably, right? Okay, understood. Okay, is the designer? Part of this is used. This create forms is used in the functionality. Yeah. Okay, so Sailpoint also provide audit capability. Right, if you go here global setting. Here you will see this audit configuration. Where is that? This one. Now, what is this audit configuration? So, by default, Sailpoint give you flexibility that these are the option that we can turn on and turn off. Okay, for example, let's say, whenever someone log in, Sailpoint will create an entry in the table. When someone will log out, Sailpoint, create an entry in the table. Then someone try to log in but with invalid credentials. Sailpoint will make an entry in that table. So basically, audit is what? Collecting data, right? So, for example, if I enable this 3 option now, you'll see that. Save this. Log out. Let's say, I logged in, logged out. So go ahead. Intelligence Advanced Analytics. If you remember, last time we searched user here, right, based on the different criteria. We have search type here. We can also search different object like entitlement that we can see here in the entitlement catalog. Okay, same way, we have one type also here, audit. Okay, clear search. Run search. Now we'll see those audit events created here. So you see here now login from the SP admin. Logout from the SP admin. Log and failure ABC. Again. Login from the administrator. So this is how Sailpoint add logging here, so we can enable more logins from here, basically auditing, for example, whenever Sailpoint send email, whenever Sailpoint forward the work item, write, anything, any action that is performed, any event, is performed within Sailpoint. For that. If you want to store that data, you can store here for the audit purpose. So this, you have to just enable this option. For example, work item forward. Whenever someone forward the work item, Sailpoint will create the audit. Whenever Sailpoint send the email, Sailpoint will create the audit here. Whenever Sailpoint is not able to send the emails, there's a failure in the email sending. So Sailpoint will create the audit event here. So this way, basically this is used for troubleshooting, and this is also used for the auditing. So this is how, basically, we enable the audit, and generally, it's like a one-time activity. We perform like in the starting of write, when we are setting up the basically initial write after infrastructure write, we are importing application and based on that, based on the compliance team, that whatever an audit data they need, we enable those options from here. You will see, there are many options that are already selected and based on the user, different. There's so many, so we can just turn on and turn off based on our requirement. Everything will come under here. Advanced Analytics. You have to select the search type audit, then simply run search. You can also filter based on the action, like, for example, here you will see different action login, so all those user who logged in, so you can check like this and generate the report directly from here. Okay, now there's one more here that is called Syslog System Logs, basically, through which you can see all the error message which is generated here. So if you click here, you will see the incident code basically. So you can get this incident code. Now these are the different error message, so you can click here. It will give you a description. Basically not like this. Basically, what you have to do is you have to download this report, for example, absolute, all this data and simply click on this. Now, this is a date. What happened to this data? It's coming like this, like, for example, this, you see this error. This is how it generate the error. So, basically, we can see the error, which is actually generated by a Sailpoint by default, like we don't need to do anything. For example, let's say there's some issues happening. Let's say, for example, you run the aggregation and application goes down right. Server is down. So how do we know that definitely a recent task will show you failure, but same time it will also make an incident number here? It will create an incident, basically entry, it will provide the incident number and it will add the message like, what is the exact issue? So this is how we also check the issues in the Sailpoint, and this is mostly widely used. The reason is this is by default provided by the Sailpoint and this will not create any kind of performance issue. And in the prod we only have a browser, accessibility. So we can only check using the syslogs for the prod data because we don't have the server access that we can go check in the backend what Tomcat is printing logs and those kind of things like. We create an account aggregation, then we group, we create a refresh and take you up right. Then we run the check active policy. So I will give you one table, a document in which you will find the task name and the description. So in the task we don't have any kind of customization. It's just you have to select the task and you have to turn off. You can turn on and turn off the option and you have to just select, save and execute. Basically, so you should know which task actually does what right. So for that I'll provide you the table so you can read, like what is the purpose of those tasks. For example, when we create the group. If you remember, we run this task refresh group right. So what is the purpose of refresh group task? Refresh group task is used to generate data for the groups that we have defined within the sale part right. So this is how tasks like this kind of a job right, we have to just trigger it. Okay, so I'll share the document with you, so in which you will see all the task name and their main purpose, what exactly job they perform when we execute those tasks. Few we have covered, like, for example, aggregation right, then the refresh and determine coalition will cover in this when we work on the role. Yeah, so this is be used in the role when we will work in the role. So, if you see, refresh the business role assignment for all entities. So when we start working on the role in Sailpoint, here we have this role, wizard, if you see. So that time you will see that what is the purpose of this task. So this is basically a job that we have to just trigger it in order to, trigger some backend process.